Always a little nerve-wracking to see if we're over there. I think we're over there now. We are. We are live on YouTube, ladies.
Hello, YouTube.
Ooh. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I had to mute something because I could hear I could hear us over there. Anyway, happy 100th episode and 1 year anniversary. Can you believe how fast it went? How are you all feeling about it? Have you thought about it at all?
I think it's amazing. And also the fact that we're a collective, there's a
Yes,
whole group of us because we'd be hard pressed to do 100 episodes in a year on our
by
own.
ourselves. No, really, truly. I was thinking about that yesterday. I sent out a newsletter saying we were celebrating, and I was thinking about the very beginning and how there were so many different nerves and questions, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, is this right? Is it good? Is it?" So I'm curious how you feel from literally a year ago, and I looked at everyone's playlist. You all have uploaded 12 episodes. So it has been, yeah. So what was it like, the journey from you, the very first time saying yes, then recording, and where you are now? How about you, Rini? Have you noticed any progression?
Yeah, definitely notice progression. Also, it's wild to think about this. Hey, good morning, Gwen, or good afternoon. I don't know if it's afternoon or morning.
Evening.
Evening. Oh, good evening. Um, yeah, I think for me, because I had shared this with you, Yolanda, I don't know if I shared this with the team, but I had a journal entry that I had read shortly after we started the podcasting that was from like a year prior where I had been pulling cards and I was getting podcasting cards on like how I needed to start a pod. And I'm just like, it's so wild how that stuff like plays out.
Yeah.
And I just remember still that first conversation about it with you and how it was this immediate yes, want to be involved, yes to everything because the universe is telling me to say yes, but it was like that total like terror, of like, oh my God, at the same time. But
Yes.
I definitely feel like there's been a lot of along the way, like I'm definitely more comfortable now. And I'm really enjoying the process too of, meeting different people and talking with different people and, sharing and hearing their stories and everyone's healing journeys are so unique. And it's just, such a fun ride to experience it all.
Yeah, it's been fun watching it, really truly thinking about the beginning and like the calls and the messages I was getting at first. And now you all are you just upload everything and you don't reach out to me for anything at all now. Yeah. What were you going to say, Rosie? I'm sorry. I saw you on mute.
No, I second a lot of what Arena says. And yeah, I think the yes was unavoidable when the idea came out because I know I had had like a short-lived podcast years before, but nothing that felt as, I don't know, like a big responsibility for some reason is what this felt like. But what I've loved is over the months, like the way that it naturally pushes you to get creative about how to talk about things that you are so in every day that are kind of like second nature for you. And then to have to get creative about how you present information like that and make it something that's really understandable for people listening is a good challenge, but it helps you like relearn the basics all the time, which I really enjoy and like have that like beginner's mindset all the time. And I just like having to think outside the box in this realm of like spirituality and energy healing and everything. So I've loved how that's presented itself as a challenge over the months. But yeah, I definitely appreciate the journey of feeling more comfortable with it because if I was still just as uncomfortable with it in the beginning, I don't think it would be fun, but it's definitely fun.
That would be
So,
problematic. Oh my God. A year later, and you're like, I still am nervous every time. Yeah. How about you, Holly? 'Cause I know this was something you were talking about for
Oh my
years.
gosh, how many years did we talk about it,
Yeah.
Yolanda, before? And yeah, so this had come up for me, I don't know, what, 5 or 7 years before. And like I probably drove Yolanda nuts with how much I talked to her about it. I mean, it was so in my field to do this because I love to share and I love to teach. And just life circumstances weren't lining up for it. And anyway, I was so grateful when Yolanda said, do you want to come in and join the gals here? And it was just an automatic yes for me. And for me, what I think the whole platform that Yolanda and all of the people behind her that people aren't seeing have created for us is a space to make it easier to podcast. I mean, what you've done here, Yolanda, with your expertise and the people with you is just created it so that we don't feel like we're having to reinvent the wheel and that we get to just focus on what we want, the content we want to deliver. And like, I know I can upload it to the portal and it just goes up. And then it's on Instagram and it's on YouTube. And so I just really thank you for this container that you've created that has allowed the ease for this to come about. And I think that goes back to what Rosie was saying, just like some of those intimidating things, it's shortened it for me. And for me now, I just feel like I want to do it more because I feel like I have so much more to share and so much. Wait, it's only once? Wait, but
Yeah.
I have so much more to say. That's kind of
Yes.
how I'm feeling about it. So to me, that just means my energy really loves it. And more than anything else, it's like narrowing it down to what I want to say once a month.
Yeah. No, it's really, really cool. And I have to say, too, that's also an inspiration to build out your channel more, too, because I know you also have a YouTube. Because Erin, our astrologer, she started just, giving the episodes on Awakening Airwaves, which are longer form, but now she's putting short versions on her own YouTube. So there's so many things, and that's exactly what I was hoping that you all would just be inspired to share with everyone, everything you're already swirling around in your head and what you're creating, because everyone has such incredible information and you all have such diverse interest. So it's been amazing again to watch. What about you, Gwen? Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Hi, guys. Yeah, I think I second what everyone has said. For me, I had no interest in doing a podcast because I knew how much work it was.
Yeah.
And I remember when you came on to talk to my community about setting up your podcast, you're like, yeah, just do this. And it was so much work. I was like, Yolanda, how are you doing this? It's so much work. And you'd interview people for 3 hours and you'd do all the things. And so I know there was so much behind it with the transcripts and the editing. But when you invited me to join Awakening Airwaves and, kind of what Holly was saying, all we had to do was record and submit. I was like, okay, that sounds good. So that really made it possible. But it was lovely to have a platform to share about something that I am quite passionate about in terms of relationships. Obviously, I talk
Yeah.
about Reiki and things like that everywhere else, but it was nice to have somewhere to focus in on that in parallel with what I was going through in my life and my relationship. Because I know it comes up a lot for my students and clients and navigating relationships. And I really believe that's quite a big growth area for all of us where we can get most of our growth, our spiritual growth. We can learn Reiki and hide in a cave and never talk to anyone again. But, relationships is really where we grow, see what triggers us and what we can do about that. So it just feels it's wonderful to have a platform to talk about that.
Hmm.
And I guess as Holly was saying as well, there is a challenge sometimes to think of topics, but it's the same with anything I do, newsletters or whatever. As soon as I sit down, it comes in and I'm like, oh yeah, or something I'm happy that's going on in my life, I can then share as part of the podcast. So it's been a pleasure to have a platform to kind of voice all of that and play with all of that and explore all of that. So yeah, I'm totally grateful for you inviting me and making it easy. Really
Yeah.
making it easy and completely grateful for Kay because sometimes like the
Yes.
audio's rubbish. I've done, messed something up. She's like, no, it's fine. I'm like, okay. I know she'll take care of it and just upload it. But, it's also just, I guess, enlightening listening to everyone else's podcast as well. I'm
Yeah.
learning so much from all of you. It's just wonderful to have this space. So yeah, really grateful. Thank you.
I'm grateful too, Gwen. And, I mean, the truth is, K plus, we have access to AI tools now, makes it all so much
Mm,
easier than when I started Reiki Radio, for example, right?
yeah,
So, like
yeah.
you mentioned transcripts and these sorts of things. Now we could just take your audio, drop it into a program, and it'll transcribe it in three
Mm,
seconds. So,
mm,
yeah, like if it were still as arduous as it was years ago, I don't know.
mm,
But yes, Kay definitely, she couldn't be here with us this morning, but so
mhm,
thankful for her and what she's been contributing. I want
mhm,
to hear from Ia and what this journey has been like for you so far. But I also just want to say really quick, it's interesting what you all have said because I know all of you in the background, and these podcasts and the shows that you share have given so much more depth to what you all think, that I think that just in a general sense, people may not know of you or have heard these different. So, like Holly, I'm used to hearing her talk about Akashic Records. Now I'm hearing her talk about all different facets of her connection to work within this realm. And Gwen, again, always Reiki, but now this layer of relationship. And Razi, like, listen, I didn't know what she was thinking outside of Mother Earth. And now I know all kinds of, right? And same with Rena and even Ia. So thank you all for being so open in what it is that you're sharing. But what has this been like for you, Ia?
Hello, beautiful people. I am so happy to be here. I can't believe 100
I
episodes.
know.
This experience has been totally life changing for me. And for all the years I've lived, that's saying a lot. But it's something that I will be eternally grateful to Yolanda for inviting me to participate because as been said already, it's caused me to go in places that I didn't know I could go and learn things that I never knew there were for me to learn and grasp and grow in different ways. And, talk about out of the comfort zone. It's not anything I'd ever imagined doing. But it has so enriched my life and helped me in so many ways. So in the beginning, oh my gosh, panic attacks, everything was like, what am I going to say? Do I look okay? Am I saying it right? And again, I can't say enough for Kay. She's so kind and patient, and because tech is not me. But each one of you have inspired me in so many ways. Um, just just so much information and so much confirmation and just stretching, my thought processes and my perception of life. It's just been amazing. So I'm thoroughly grateful to be connected to this community. And again, Yolanda, we've known each other for a long time, and she knows me the backside, as she said earlier. And for me to be here on this live today is even just, like I was talking to a friend earlier, and I told her what I was doing. She said, "You?" And I said, "Yes, me." And it's been wonderful. Just absolutely great. Thank you so much, everybody, for what you've contributed to me.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. And that's one of the things I think is so amazing about this. One, we're a collective, all women. We've lasted together for over a year. That's a big feat. When you really think about it, a lot of people, we don't hang in there too tough. But the fact that we have really, and the support, everyone, acknowledging each other's work and commenting on each other's things, and just, it's been such a beautiful um, space to be a part of, to experience, and again, to witness everyone's work. But as you all have said, podcasting is not easy because while you may see content that someone provides, it seems easy because you're just watching you all talk about whatever topic you've chosen, but it is not that easy. And it does take a lot of work, especially behind the scenes. So, can you all talk a little bit about what your process was like, maybe how it's evolved? Do you have any tips for people thinking about sharing on a podcast? What is it like for you in the background? How do you even come up with what you want to say?
Well, I'll
I'll-
go.
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I'm a teacher in my background, so I keep a lot of notes on different things because I teach in other realms, just not online. I mean, not on a public podcast.
Yeah.
And so ideas come to me, but then formatting it for presentation to such a potentially broad audience, because usually I have a pretty narrow audience that I'm talking with. And so the other thing is that, you know, how when you get an idea and then it morphs into all these things, and then it's trying to get control of it to, like, okay, you got to narrow this down and kind of formulate it. So um, I keep a notebook with all my different ideas, and then I start developing the ideas. And then sometimes the very day that I'm scheduled to actually record, it changes. You know, something will come and it's like, no, you're not talking about that. You're going to do this over here. I'm like, oh, okay. But because I keep notes, I'm going back like, okay, how can I tie this together? And the other thing I would say that works for me that I'm sure other people do the same thing, but don't stop yourself. If you get a download at the last minute, that could be coming from your spirit to say, no, the people need this,
Yeah.
or you need this, to hear your own voice saying something to yourself. So I always try to go with that intuition, that inspiration that comes even at the last minute to add something or totally change what it is that I might be speaking about. And then one of the most amazing things to me is when Kay finishes doing her magic and you actually see it posted, it's like, whoa, I said that, or I did this, or how she comes up with, I'm terrible with the titles. When she comes up with the titles and she and Yolanda work their magic on that. But just leave yourself open. I guess that's, you know, not be hardcore. I have to talk about this and I have to do it this way. Because one of the side benefits I have found is surprising myself with what I wind up coming up with in the midst of a topic that I might even be familiar with. And it's like, whoa, how did that come through? So
Yes.
add that.
That is so true. But I'm glad that you say that as a reminder for all of us. I think whether you're podcasting or not, that reminder of how important it is to acknowledge just the insights we weren't expecting and how valuable those can be. Thank you so much. What were you going to say, Holly?
Well, similar to Ethan Lyle, I've been a teacher of all kinds of things basically my whole life, starting with teaching swimming when I was in college to other people, but then, you know, all the way through public school. And then, you know, in these transformational metaphysical realms. So just teaching is my thing. The thing that I noticed my journey has been is that I hate scripts. Initially, I was writing out what I wanted to say because I was worried that I might get too verbose and I would say too many things and then it would be too long and people weren't going to hang in there and listen and it wouldn't be interesting. And I'm not good at that. And which I know this is counter to many people. I'm much better with here's the topic, turn it on and just go for it. And I feel so much better. Now I do have some ones that I've planned coming up that I won't fully be able to do it that way.
Yeah.
That are very out of the box for what anyone would expect for me, to be frank about it. But I'm better when, like, I know my stuff and I feel like I get hemmed in with a script. And I think so what comes from that is just trust yourself, Holly. Trust yourself. Like, you've got it there and just let it flow. And I often just feel like, not that I'm talking to the camera, but that I'm talking to people. And what would I be saying about this? And sometimes I imagine certain questions being asked, because a lot of what I do, I've had questions asked a lot about it. So it's that I feel much more confident, and I feel like my voice also just sounds more like me than when I'm in a script mode. The other thing about a script mode is I'm terrible about tracking it,
Mm,
which is, before when I used to teach classes with people and we'd have PowerPoint. Oh, I'm bad with PowerPoints because I just know where we're going, and I'm not that good at being that linear. And so then I get lost, and then suddenly I'm not on the script anymore, and I had to do too many takes.
yeah.
So it's that, just like, your stuff, just go ahead and share it, and it's a sharing, it's a transmission more than something that has to feel so perfect.
Right. Oh, that's so good and a really good reminder because I think in the beginning you can't help but strive for perfection because you don't know. I mean, there's so many variables like, oh, are people going to understand? Are they going to want to stay? Are they going to judge me? Am I going to sound crazy? All of the things we could question until you finally do it so many times that you just kind of land into, well, here I am. That's very beautiful. I want to just say really quickly before we go on, hi to Mama Ifatayo. She said greetings in the chat. And also someone listening from South Africa. Hello, welcome. Thank you for tuning in and being here with us. So, anyone else, have you noticed what it's like behind the scenes for you that we may not see once you hit record? Go ahead, Gwen.
Yeah, totally agree with Holly again. I started off with scripts.
Yeah,
Very structured, but yeah, you look like you're reading a script, or I thought I did anyway. And then when I realized that I'm writing the script isn't coming from anyone else, it's from me, so I know my stuff and I have to
yeah,
trust that. And so now I just have a few bullet points, and it just feels a lot more natural, a lot more flowy. Um, I do use Descript behind the scenes since you told me about it. And so
yeah,
I just record and I'll just repeat rather than stopping and starting again. I'll just carry on, pause and carry on. And I can always take that bit out of Descript before I send it to Kay. So
yeah,
that feels really good as well because it means I'm not spending hours recording.
yeah,
I'm just kind of doing it from flow. But yeah, so that was a big thing. So behind the scenes, once I've set up my laptop and my light, headphones, sometimes I have recorded with my wireless headphones and realized that it's not actually set to that. So I've had to start again, or actually I've sent it to Kay and she's sorted it out. But I think, yeah, I think you just have to start somewhere with the script. It kind of helps you feel a bit structured. And as Holly was saying, it stops you from wandering, but then it does contain you a little bit too much. And after a while, you settle down, you breathe, you take your time, and then it just feels more natural. And as you said, you get downloads, you get insights.
yeah,
But it's nice to plan out a little bit beforehand, and that gets me excited about what I'm going to record, rather than just sitting down and I haven't even thought about it. So I think it's nice to at least plot out some bits. And I always end up forgetting my intro and outro, what I'm going to say. Like, hi, I'm Gwen. So it's just nice to maybe have that written out a little bit and then just trust and go with the flow. But yeah, I think the key thing I've realized is audio. Sometimes people don't even care about the visual. It's
yeah.
more the audio, particularly if it's a podcast, but
True.
even YouTube, it's the audio. But yeah, whatever you can do just to turn the camera on. I think you shared a video with us really early on, Yolanda, about just turning the video on and then breathing and relaxing with the video still on.
Yeah.
And then use your true voice, because I know when I'm not using my true voice, it gets really high. And that's not who I am. So yeah, so there's just a few little things that I've learned along the way. But I think bottom line, just be yourself and turn it on and you can't go far wrong. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm curious to know about Roslyn and Serena too, but while they share, just want to ask you all in the background of this too to start thinking about, has podcasting changed how you communicate in any other areas of your life? Has it made you different with your listening style, your communication style, any of that? So what's going on behind the scenes with you, Rosie?
There's quite a bit. But yeah, a lot of what folks have said, I think in the beginning, Kay and I, and I feel really lucky to have someone to always bounce off of because
Mhm.
I know the pressures of doing a solo cast every month, I can imagine, because I just did one solo recently. Like, oh wow, yeah, this is a whole other level of challenging. So it's so nice to have somebody to like talk through topics with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think in the beginning we tried to be pretty organized, which is funny thinking of how we like come up with topics now, but like we had like month to month, we were like, yeah, we could do this, we could do this could be our topic. And then we kind of started working through it. And I think just based off of like what we were both learning outside of, this community and things that was happening in our own practices and like it adjusted. And so kind of what everybody is saying is like we kind of just followed what was piquing our interest at the time. And then also just trying to be fun with like seasonality. So like our Halloween episode was like kind of, Halloween themed in a way. And just trying to always keep it fun, I think is very important, and taking the pressure off of ourselves and making sure that whatever we're talking about, like it's something that's interesting to us. So again, like mirroring what everyone's saying is like keep it to what keep it to what you enjoy. Um, and I think seconding what everyone else is saying, like as intimidating as it is knowing that there are a lot of people online talking about these things, that when you present it in your own way with your own experience from your life and your own voice, like that's a really special thing that
Yeah.
people enjoy hearing. So I think that's kind of, the background of how ours evolved, and now we're just kind of seeing what comes to mind and what feels important to talk about, as we approach each month, which is really fun because I don't know, sometimes we never know. It comes together in the end and we just run with it. So it's fun.
I can also say it's interesting you bring this up, Razi, that it is very different podcasting alone versus having a co-pilot. Because when I first started Reiki Radio, a friend of mine and I, we did it together for a few months. And then when she was like, oh, she was going to go do her own podcast, and I had to transition into just by myself, that was very weird and uncomfortable. And then I got so comfortable with doing it by myself. Then now, I primarily interview people. And so now, because I'm used to interviewing, it's hard for me to do episodes by myself again. Oh, it's very, very interesting. How about you? You're behind the scenes, Rini.
I was gonna say my because you mentioned the interviewing and everything. I've gone kind of back and forth, and it's funny because it was very different doing a few that were interviewed and then the one that I did about my dog and those soul pets and that whole
Oh,
episode.
yeah.
But yeah, my process is way different. In the beginning, I definitely did a lot of like hit record and then I'd say something and I'd like totally like just question like how I pronounce something or, stumbling over my words or, burping because I have a lot of energy. And so I'm like, okay, I'm starting over. Um, but yeah, that, and then also I still like to, if I do a solo episode, I do like to write everything out. And even if I do an interviewing one, I like to write everything out just so I have an outline, because for me and the way my brain works, like I have to have like a focus and a focal point. Otherwise I will be like way out there. So I have to kind of like have myself contained in this little, okay, we're gonna, hit these points and everything. But I'm not as I guess strict with myself with how I kind of mold the episodes as I used to be. Like now a lot of times I have my phone and I'm driving and I'm like, while my kids, asking for a new song or whatever in the background, I'm putting on my notes and I'm like talking into it and saying, okay, and then I'm going to hit this point and talk about, so it's, a little bit different than how it was before. I still like to have it all look nice in a Word doc though, when I go through it, but I think that's the Virgo in me. So.
Yes. That is so funny. Yeah, it is interesting to hear how all of you have evolved, even though, again, I've seen behind the scenes. And I don't think it even really occurred to me until today, like, wow, no one really ever reaches out to me for anything anymore. Whereas at the beginning, it was like every day, everybody, I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize this is what this was going to be like. But it's very, very, it's amazing to see how everyone has evolved through the process. So curious, as I said before, Any of you notice changes in your communication as a result of having to communicate in this way?
What I've noticed, and I can't say I've solved this yet, but what I've noticed, especially if I read a transcript of anything,
Mhm.
I know I'm understandable, but I like things transcribe to be wanna or gonna and
Yes.
things like that. And it's like time to crispen up some of those things. Like nobody's gonna misunderstand what I'm saying.
Right.
But when I see it actually like written out, I'm like, ooh, and maybe that's and there I just said, and those little things that get inserted in and becoming maybe hyper aware of them, and how do you actually speak without interjecting those things all the time and just be just very clear and efficient with what you're saying,
Right.
not in a sort of robotic way, but just in a way that I guess there's clarity to it. And maybe this is a perfectionist in me. Like, I don't want to see a transcript. This is wanna
Yeah, I think
or gonna.
that emphasizes it even more. Kay and I were laughing one time because one of her transcriptions, it said like 10,000 times. And she said, "Oh my gosh, I have to stop saying." She said, like, I have to stop saying, like, we're cracking up and then it became this joke. But yeah, it's much different when you see it written out. But also, even sometimes just hearing yourself back, you're like, wow, is that what I say? That's how I say things. Anyone else? Anything you notice about your communication? Look like you're reaching Gwen, no? She's like,
Yeah. Yeah, mine was similar with the word I still say it now, but I didn't realize how much I said it. And when I look at old videos of me from the past, I never used to say it that much. It seems like a recent thing in the last few years, that recording for Awakening Airways, I definitely noticed I was saying a lot, and the same, wanna gonna, but it's the thing. So I'm trying now to breathe and close my mouth. Apparently, there's a technique around it. When you're going to say just close your mouth. So I'm trying these different techniques. It's getting less and less in the recordings, but yeah, but my partner was saying it actually makes it sound more natural because it's kind of what we do anyway. So you don't want to
right.
strip them all out. But yeah, because it just shows that you're thinking and you're just human basically, as
Yes.
opposed to wanting everything to be perfect, which then also takes out those, I just did it there, takes out those pauses. So sometimes we naturally say certain things. I'm just making peace with it, but trying to reduce it a little bit. So that's definitely been a big change in how I communicate. And also just feeling a bit more relaxed, I think, on camera, in interviews and things like that. So it definitely has helped in terms of everything else I'm doing on video, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
love that. It's funny. It's the same for me. I've become more intentional when I'm speaking sometimes, sometimes. But because of podcasting, it's given me an awareness of when I'm grounded and present versus when I get really excited and I'm like all over the place. And both happen when I'm podcasting, but I'm consciously aware. I'm very, very tuned into what my communication is as it's happening and where to make adjustments when I need to take a breath and slow down, all of these kinds of things. But it's interesting the self-awareness that it seems to emphasize. So before we get into the conferences, because last year was our first and we have another one this year, which I can't wait to talk about, I also wanted to know, do you like what does it feel like to finally share your thoughts? I mean, things that maybe you haven't spoken about as publicly before, or even the idea of just whatever comes to mind, I'm gonna record about that. Like, does it feel like a contribution to the community? How does it feel for you? How about you, Ia?
Well, it feels, I'm still working through that.
Yeah.
When I teach the classes that I normally teach, Reiki and African spirituality, primarily things I have been teaching for years, it's with a lot of times with people that I know, or they're referred to me by other people I know, and it's a smaller group, that kind of thing. So I'm very comfortable there. But the podcast thing and speaking like total free, that's been a challenge. I'm getting better
Yes.
um, with it. And I noticed, I don't remember when it kind of happened, but I noticed I started feeling a little freer to just not be guarded with what I say or how I might say something when I'm doing the podcast. And I wanted to go back a little bit to the first question you asked us about podcasting, because I started off with Wisdom of the Elders with
Yes.
Ipai Tayo. And that was just perfect for me because I had a partner, somebody that to throw ideas around with, and then I'm not out there by myself. And that was just major for me. I don't know how I could have gotten through some of the things if I hadn't had that. So I'm really grateful for Yolanda's idea for us to do that, as well as for Ife Tayo and the willingness to do it. So that helped me tremendously just getting started. But being more open and free and not second guessing what I want to talk about or whatever. I'm still in the process of that, but it feels good. It feels liberating
Yeah.
because I've always been more of a more reserved person when I'm talking in a larger group or at a larger forum. So that I see as a great benefit to me personally.
Yes.
So yeah, and I have seen that it impacts some of the things I'm planning to talk about as we go forward. It's helped me to free up what where I'm willing to go with conversation.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that because for me, it has been an amazing way of getting to learn from all of you. And I think of what inspired Reiki Radio is I just wanted to talk about what I thought we needed to hear that I didn't hear anyone else talking about. And so when I hear you all sharing your perspectives and your experiences through whatever you share on the different episodes, I'm like, that's what this is. That's what it's about. Like we all get access to, different ways that people even express and articulate these teachings or the way that they describe it. It finally clicks with you in a way that other people may have said it, but they just didn't say it in the way that landed for you. So I can't tell you how amazing it is to hear all of you and what you share and what you teach, because of just, again, like the diversity of it all. Yeah. Anyone else? How does it feel? What about you, Rainy? It's a pretty blue wall, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, it feels really good to be able to share. I think, especially for me, one of the biggest pivotal moments for me was the summit last year, because I was so nervous going into it, because it felt like such a larger platform. Because when you're doing the podcast, like you're still a little nervous maybe, but the people aren't there in front of you. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, but then when they're there in front of you, you're like, so there was a little bit of that, growing into that, but and being comfortable with that and being comfortable with having people there, but then also being able to have something that I put so much energy and time and my love into, and watching it kind of bloom was really fun and exciting. So that was a very exciting moment to be able to share that. And then, with all the podcasts, um, and how each one of them, that I've chosen the topics and shared about, and whether I've had somebody on and manifested that person, like you guys will be hearing with Monique, and Yolanda knows the story, but it's like wild how stuff, flows
That was
in.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so wild. And it's just, and I'll have to share with you at some point, Yolanda, but that's continued to grow. And it's really cool to have these experiences. So yeah, it's all been really beautiful. And for me too, another one that's standing out is, and I know I brought it up, but the one that I did on soul pets and our, energy with our pets and how they could be affected and vice versa, really was such a powerful one for me, because I felt like in that episode, it was also like healing for me to be able to share with everyone, something that was so vulnerable. And yeah, so yeah, it's been amazing.
It has been. I just want to say with what she just gave a teaser of the synchronicity and the way the things just unfolded with an interview she has coming up. That interview will be on the 31st. It's coming up. So
That's
whatever.
this upcoming Friday. What is that?
Yes. It's
31st?
actually the full moon. It's the blue moon that day too. Yeah,
Yeah,
the blue moon that
I
day.
just got chills.
Yes. So do you and Monique talk about how you met in the episode or no? Or you'll tell them behind the scenes?
Um, I don't know. It's such a blur. Like,
Yes.
when you have the episodes with
We'll
the
tell the
names and
ladies
stuff
behind the
like
scenes.
that.
Yes.
But yeah, because I
Yeah.
know we've talked outside of it, and I told her the story either before or after going on. I don't know if we talked about it on the actual episode. I think maybe, but I'm not entirely certain.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was wild because it really was. I like, man, and the way it happened too was so fast. Like it was just like ding, 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 and it was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I was
I
like, that's
know.
perfect.
Wait a minute. I just want to, while you are sharing, who's sharing next? Anything coming in for you? Any insights? How about you, Rozzy? You've been quiet up top.
I think in terms of like contribution, I think at the beginning, the first few months, it was kind of like, and I kind of said this earlier, like everything's so saturated. People already know about all this stuff. But then I really looked at like my own personal like habits and things that I'm attracted to in terms of like podcasters and topics and things like that. And it's like, yeah, there are so many people, but there really are individuals that feel like I was meant to find and that really resonate with me and that um yeah, just the information sinks in a way that I can really understand and relate to. And so once I kind of started thinking that way, I was like, you know what? Yeah, people talk about this stuff, but the way that we talk about it and the way that we present information and our dynamic and things like that, like that's going to reach certain people and it's going to be like just the right flavor that they're looking for. So that's kind of another way that like the pressure is taken off a little bit, that like you don't have to be for everybody, but the right people will like enjoy and really take in what we're all sharing. And I don't know, I think that's very special. And then just being part of this community and group, it's like I really haven't seen that before either. So
Yeah.
that's really wonderful. And I'm super grateful for that too, because I feel like our contribution as a whole is very unique and special as well. So that's just
Yes.
like an awesome part of it too.
I was thinking of that too. It's kind of like it reminds me of I don't know, one of your favorite television stations or something, right? So people could just tune into Awakening Airwaves and they're going to get 9 different shows. I mean, and you get 2 episodes a week. I mean, come on. You're kidding? So much goodness. And speaking of that, I just want to show for people who do watch the video, just so it's very clear. The only reason we're going live on the Reiki Radio YouTube is because we still need more follows on the Awakening Airwaves YouTube channel so that the ladies can go live over there. So if you are watching or listening, please go to YouTube at Awakening Airwaves and follow the YouTube channel so that we can do some lives over there and the ladies can have a ball with that. So this is what the channel looks like. I just wanted to point out you can click on to see all of the videos, all of the episodes, but they also have playlists. So if you click on playlists, you will see everyone's shows. And like you can see, most everyone has 12 episodes. Wisdom of the Elders has 8, but then Aligned and Whole has 4, bringing it to 12. So you see, we've done a year. Again, today is the 100th episode, but please do go look at, you can go to the playlist and listen to everybody's shows in the order as you choose and binge on it all. So, look how fast the time goes. The conference. Serena mentioned it, but last year we had our first conference. And for everyone who came, I just want to say thank you so much. I feel like it was more than all of us expected. It was so fun to have that live interaction, participation. People were there on Zoom live with us. And if you missed it, you can come this year because we're doing it again. So I wanted to go around and ask you all about that. So, Razi, what was it like for you preparing for the conference last year, and what will you be sharing this year?
It was nerve-wracking, like Sonia
Yes.
said.
Yeah.
It was definitely out of the comfort zone for sure. Um, but I'm so glad that we did it. And
Yeah.
I think it was fun because it really did push us to really, really prepare and then having like a presentation and like we ran through it a couple times, Kay and I. And we're both kind of perfectionists sometimes, so it was fun to kind of work through that together and figure out the best way to kind of present the information that we wanted to present. So it was fun. It was a fun thing, but I'm glad like number one is under the belt and like this one will feel a little bit more like not a big deal.
Yes.
Um, but I am really excited. So I'll be doing my own individual session. So it'll be about the elements in Mother Earth and looking at the signs and symbols that are all around us and how we can kind of be more aware of how we are constantly reminded of how we're made and how we interact with the world around us. And really just looking at the elements and how we're designed so incredibly. And how whenever we come up to those points where we're not sure how to move forward, we have so many examples in nature around us that show us how to do that. So I'm really excited to share some of that.
I'm excited too. Just so you know, Roslyn also has monthly classes that are based on Earth and the elements, which
Mhm.
I've gone to a few and they're really, really good. So you can go to her website, Two Wolves Wellness. Is that
Yes.
right? Yes, .com.
twowellswellness.com. Yep.
Yes, and everyone's websites will be down in this show description. Be sure you check everyone out. Yes. How about you, Holly? The conference.
Yeah, I actually don't even really remember preparing for last year's
Mm.
conference, to be honest. I mean, and I don't recall it being a stress point for me. So, I mean, I've done a lot of online teaching over
Yeah,
the
yeah.
years. So I'm very comfortable with it. And so so it just sits as, ooh, we get to do it again for me. And this year I'm going to do something different. I mean, or maybe unexpected. I'm not going to talk about the Akashic Records or channeling, but I'm going to be sharing something that I really just work more with my private clients with and in my own life. And it's a way of, I'm going to call it energetic spiritual hygiene. There's a lot of talk about how we protect our energy, and often it's with visualization and from the outside in. And this is a way to learn how to become very aware of your energy and your, on every level, including all your energetic levels, and really start becoming stronger
Yeah.
from within.
Yes.
I believe our light is the best protection we can have. So when we're clear in who we are and we know how to easily and efficiently clear out our energetic field, this is where we do our best work. We shine the best. We feel most comfortable. We're able to show up for others best. So I'm going to be taking everyone through that process that I've been doing with myself. And again, just with one-on-one clients, I really haven't taught it publicly before.
Yeah. Wow. Look at this behind the scenes. I just want to say too, the conference is in September, but you can go to these ladies, their sites, which I said will be down in the show description. You can go to their social media, these things. Sign up for their newsletters too, for the people who have newsletters, because they have links where you can register for the conference. And once you're registered, you can join our private Facebook group where we will be chatting with you all, sharing information prior to and after the conference itself. So get on it. How about you, Gwen?
Yeah, last year, I think I always do get a little bit nervous if I'm presenting something online initially, then it kind of goes.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's nice and comforting to hide behind the slides, keeps you on point. But I really enjoyed it because I think I came on early and you did your presentation first, Yolanda, about the mirroring auras. I was just like fascinated by that. It made so much sense. And I remember watching Serena's as well, enjoying Serena's and Ifa's. So it then just felt lovely after I'd done mine. I could relax a little bit. But I really enjoyed it, and your community really engaging as well. So that was encouraging. So that was nice to kind of do that. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Once the initial nerves go, then I can sort of settle down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, this year I'm looking at, I guess, honoring the Reiki principles. So it's looking at navigating anger and how we can learn from our anger rather than make it wrong,
Yeah.
understanding the teachings we can get from it, understanding what we can do in the moment as well as before the moment, particularly using Reiki and other spiritual tools as well. And whether you call it anger or it might be frustration, we all kind of go through it. So it's kind of reframing a lot of that. But then also, I want to finish with forgiveness, with guiding everyone through loving kindness, metta bhavana meditation, which allows us to focus on ourselves first, and then we're radiating out that same energy to someone we love, someone kind of, I guess, casual, the person that triggers us, and then the whole of humanity. So I'm really looking forward to guiding everyone through that one. Yeah.
Incredible. I cannot wait. I have to just say really quick before we get to Ia and Serena. One, everyone should know that this is a 3-day event. So
Mm,
it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and each day there are 3 master classes. And again, it's live. And so I think of how incredible it is, like the generosity of you all taking the time to share what you share on your podcasts. But then this takes it a step further, where again, instead of just listening, people actually get to interact, participate, be there with us live. There's
mm.
so much laughter that it was a lot of fun. We learned so much. It was just incredible. So I'm so very excited for us to have this opportunity again this year. So again, everyone listening, go get your ticket. Yeah. How about you, Ia? How was it, my love?
I was really nervous last year, and in preparing, that the preparation was fine, but the actual how am I going to portray this, that, and the other to have the interaction part,
Yeah.
and like somebody said earlier, just that the people were live right there is like okay, but after I got through the first few minutes, it was good. It was fine, but to me it was really a big deal because I watch a lot of master classes and I'm like, but as far as calling myself somebody who was doing a master class, I hadn't thought about it. But then after, it's like, you've done this before. But in the preparation, it was just like a little daunting. But I had a lot of fun, and all of you were just great. I mean, it was so, I still look at some of them and get a lot of insight
Yeah.
from that. So this year, I'm going to be talking about prayer as human technology. And I got that idea from the fact I read a book earlier this year about prayer from an African spirituality perspective. And the author made a statement about being a priest and that she prays for a living. And I'm like, whoa, that's me. That's what I do. And I never thought about it like that. So when you do readings that accompany rituals and you have the client come, whether they're virtual or in person, to do those rituals, you are praying for them. And it just never clicked for me that that's what I do. So I had 2 topics in mind, and this one just was like, no, this is it. I remember even calling Yolanda and say, hey, I need to run some ideas past you. But by the time we got to talking, it had, my spirit said, no, you're doing this one. And I'm very excited about it because it's helping me to go deeper into the minutia of how all that comes together,
Yeah.
to formulate prayers which are words of power and empowerment and enrichment and light. So that's what I'll be talking about this year.
Very exciting. Oh, it's so exciting. I can't wait. Because that was the thing too. Everyone, again, I mean, you can tell from you all's podcast, even though we're all under the umbrella of spirituality, everyone has what their particular points of focus are, their interests are. You all have different ways of talking about things that may be in relationship, right? This stuff is all interconnected. But to learn from you all, again, just thinking about last year, it was incredible. It was so, so incredible. How about you, Rainey?
So, something that comes up for me a lot because anytime I share with people in my sacred tent or anytime I share online, people always ask a lot of questions and want to know more. So I'm going to be offering a master class around ceremony, ritual, and sacred space. And I will be including all the different aspects of it with, the energy of when you're working in that container of, ceremony and ritual. And then whether it's for you, independently creating that within your home for yourself, or whether it's you as the facilitator and working with others. So I'll be kind of including both aspects of it.
Yeah.
So,
If
right.
you've not seen any of her amazing tents, go to her social media or her website. I remember the first time I saw one of your tents, I was like, what is this? So I have another visual just really quickly for everyone who is watching this. You can register already. Here are other classes. So we have the first day, which is September 18th, these three master classes. Then on Saturday, the 19th, you have these three master classes. And then finally on Sunday, September 20th, we have the final three. And again, you can't even imagine how incredible and full. And it was fun just having an entire weekend to be with you all. That was the fun part, and that we could do it virtually. And it just felt so connected. That was a lot of fun. So I have to say, ladies, 100 episodes, a whole year later, I personally want to thank you all for saying yes. I have to tell you, part of me, I was shocked that you said yes, because it is a commitment. You weren't just saying yes to a one off, you were saying yes to doing an ongoing offering to people. And as you all have shared, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes with that, because you have to come up with what you want to talk about. Then you have to make time to record it. And then you have to deal with your own bloopers and whatever you all have gone through just for us to be able to share it with everyone. So I cannot thank you enough for showing up for an entire year here on Awakening Airwaves. Any last words? Anything coming up for you all before we go today?
I
Go ahead,
just want to
Rainy.
say gratitude to everyone here and especially you, Yolanda, for creating this platform for everyone. So thank you to everyone and thank you, Yolanda.
Thank you. Talk about a sisterhood. Like, that's really what stood out to me when I sent the newsletter. I was like, wow, look what happens when women come together to support each other. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful thing. Yeah.
Mm,
Go ahead,
mm.
Gwen.
Yeah, the same. Wanted to again express my thanks to everybody here, and I guess for you as well, Yolanda, for following your dream, your vision, being a woman of action and not just thinking the thought. And it'd be nice too, but actually pulling it all together. We know there's a lot of work you do behind the scenes as well to make this happen. And it's been great learning from you and I guess getting some mentorship from you around how you're doing all of this, which is great. But totally full of appreciation for you and all the women in this amazing group. Yeah, I can't believe it's been a year.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to say again, as a reminder for everyone, we really do appreciate you following Awakening Airwaves wherever you listen to podcasts or even on the YouTube channel, but also follow the women. I mean, they all have separate platforms as well. So, just, and there's so much more juicy content that they all are sharing, classes and all of these things that even go beyond the podcast. So make sure you tune in. Anyone else, anything you want to share before we
Yes,
go?
I
Yes.
want to thank you so much, Yolanda, for everything that you do. And it's just amazing for someone at your stage of life and looking back at everything you've done and how much you share. It's truly inspirational, and it's been amazing to get to know you even better and the support that you have provided for me and the rest of us is, you can't even, I don't have words for it. I really and truly mean that from my heart. And I don't mind saying, as a person of advanced age, when I keep saying about this change that's brought about for me, and I just want to say to everybody, it's never, I'm an example of, it's never too late to be pushed out of your comfort zone and to allow spirit to use you and change you. So whatever dreams you have, even though this wasn't one of my conscious dreams, it obviously was there somewhere because I'm doing it. And so just keep doing what you do and follow your spirit. And to each of you, my sisters, thank you so much for everything. You have supported my work, and I thank you, and I look forward to spending another year getting to know you even better. Thank you.
That's so beautiful. Well, you all are not going to make me cry in this 100th episode. You won't do it. Anyone else? Anything before we go today?
I just want to toss in here that I feel like the platform and the way you've brought this together, Yolanda, and all of us who are contributing to it, because there are other people
Yes.
here who aren't able to make it live with us today. I feel like this is the creation of what the future is supposed to be, but it's happening in our now, where there really truly is collaboration and support. And I feel that. I feel like it's a future model now. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. It's so true. I was thinking about that too, how you hear so many stories of people being like competitive and just, I don't know, you hear a lot of different things. And I think of having this experience with all of you and how, again, supportive everyone is and complimentary and encouraging. Everyone's cheering for each other all the time. Like, I don't know what other people are experiencing, but this is a
Yeah.
beautiful container. And if you need inspiration, again, tune in and see, and hopefully other people will do things very similar. Yeah. Well, anything for you, Rozzy, before we wrap it up?
I mean, of course, I echo everybody else's thanks and gratitude, and especially like seconding what Holly was saying, it's such a special group of people. And I love, what you mentioned about the competitiveness. Like, it just goes to show like everybody's voice can be heard and contribute. And, I really hope that the people that are enjoying the episodes every week get more involved and like help grow our community and, really just make it even more supportive than what
Yes.
it is, because there's just so much opportunity for that. And I think that's really what people are looking for these days, is that actual, true, like authentic connection with others. And so, yeah, I'm just so, so grateful. And I mean, I'm like always overwhelmed by what people are putting out on the channel. So I'm so excited to keep learning.
Yeah.
Everybody just has so much to give. So, so, so
Yes.
grateful.
And I have to say, to that point of what you said, for everyone listening, absolutely the more that you all are involved, I mean, we're thankful for it, of course. And it also helps, the visibility and for the podcast to grow and all of these things. But I know that if you all are more actively engaged and come and show up at the conference as you did last year and these things, that then I can maybe convince these ladies to do an in-person retreat one time. So I'm asking you to please be involved so I can really talk them into doing something in person where we can all get together live. And what an incredible event that would be, to spend a few days together in person. Yeah. So I do want to thank you all again. Thank you so, so much for everything, and everyone who has joined us throughout this year. Thank you. If you are new, thank you, and share with people in your community. We appreciate it. Is that all, ladies? Yes? All right. Goodbye, everyone.